Hello and welcome to Qsports. I'm Mamadou Gajaga and thank you for joining us. Coming up this afternoon, Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers, Morocco 2025 special, Gambia, Comoros, and also Tunisia, Madagascar. We will dissect the results of the two games, but first about the Gambia-Comoros game. Is it an expected result? 1-1 it ended. Comoros scored first through a fantastic free kick, and Gambia responded through the captain on the day, Musa Barrow, who scored a sumptuous free kick. Just at the stroke of half-time, and there were no further goals, even though opportunities were coming from both sides. Comoros at the other end, especially against the run of play. And for the Gambia, even towards the end of the game, Aliou Fadera had that glorious opportunity to make it 2-1 for Gambia. But on the other end as well, just before the final whistle, there was a corner for Comoros. So it could have gone either way in the game. Lots of chances created, but in the same group, we've seen on Sunday, or rather, the following day when the Gambia played, we saw Tunisia played against Madagascar. It was a home game for Tunisia. Just as it seems that the game was going to end in a 0-0 draw, Tunisia scored a last goal, which gives them 3 points in this group and topping the group. So as it stands now, is Tunisia on top, and Gambia and Comoros follow suit, then Madagascar at the bottom of the group. But this is just early days in the group as far as the qualifiers is concerned. Joining me in the studio is Coach Ahmad Cham to dilate on the Gambia's performance against Comoros. Coach Cham, welcome to the studio.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here to talk about football, which is a big passion for me, and specifically talk about Gambian football, especially the national team.
Let's dissect the game. First, it was Comoros who took the lead. Well, the guy who scored the free kick is not a newcomer when it comes to taking those kind of shots and executing them very well. On this occasion, beat the keeper, beat the wall, and it was a fantastic goal. You'll love it. 37 minutes in the game, and Musa Barrow responded. So what do you make of the goal?
Yeah, I think there were two fantastic dead ball situations, and we all know that Musa Barrow has a very powerful shot as Gambians. And the guy who scored, Comoros captain, it was a day for the captains. The captain for Comoros scored first from a free kick, then Musa Barrow responded before half-time, again through a free kick, which was good for Gambia to go into half-time 1-1, to be in a position to have a building block, because we should know that we were playing in Morocco, which is our home, but we were this time playing away, but at the same time in Morocco, our home, since the Independence Stadium was not cleared by CAF. So I think it was a fair result, but if you look at the game, you will see that the Gambian team dominated possession, created a lot of chances, but unfortunately we were not sharp in front of goal to take at least one of those chances to win the game.
It's virtually becoming kind of a punishment, and we all see it in football. If you don't take your chances, you at the end you become the team at the receiving end. We saw that a lot in the game, where Gambia dominated possession, got into the box, had something to do with maybe a goal opportunity executed. Yeah, Comoros will pick up, and then the same counter-attacking football will get into the Gambia box, and a chance would be created for Comoros as well.
I think that's the game. If you create chances, you have the opportunity to kill a team, you should be in a position to take those chances. And if you score your chances, that will release the pressure on the team, and the team will play freely, more attractive football that Gambians want to watch. But the good thing is that, yes, we are not scoring the goals, but we are creating the chances. The moments that will come when we start scoring the goals, it will be another story. But as coaches, we believe that it's good that the team is creating chances. What we need is to take those chances. As long as we are playing, we are creating the chances, we should one time be in a position to take those chances. And goal scoring is not only a Gambian problem, it's, I believe, an African problem. You'll see that if you watch most of the games, apart from Egypt's game, no other game had a lot of, you did not have a lot of high scoring.
Yeah, Egypt
games.
and Morocco
The only
game
high
as
scoring.
well against Gabon.
Yeah, these games were the only high scoring games, but apart from those games, most of the games ended 2-1 or a 1-all draw or a 0-0 draw.
Yes, so draw, was it a fair point between the two sides sharing the points in that game, or do you think it could have been maybe first 3 points for Gambia and being on a very strong standing?
Yeah, the Gambian team will be more disappointed because they created the chances, they had the opportunities to score goals, but they did not take those opportunities, so they will be more disappointed than the team from Comoros, because yes, even though Comoros was playing at home, but at home away from home, but you will see that the way the Gambian team played, it has been a long time the Gambian team played like that, just like they played against in Gabon, when they played in Gabon in the World Cup qualifiers. For the first time, a Gambian team went away and dominated the home team against Gabon. We had a replica of that game. We dominated, we created a lot of chances, but we did not take the chances.
And when it comes to football, you don't take your chances most of the time, as we said earlier. Yes, the statistics overall, the possession 63 or 66.3 for Gambia and 33.7 for Comoros. When it comes to the shots overall, Gambia 13 shots, Comoros 11. Shots on target, Comoros 5, Gambia 4. Shots off target, Comoros 6, Gambia 8. Block shots, Gambia 1, Comoros none. And if you look at the number of touches in the opposition box, Comoros 15, Gambia 30 touches in the opposition box. That tells you a lot about the game, the free-flowing path and the passing.
Yeah, that shows that the Gambian team dominated. That is why they entered, or they played more inside the opponent's box than the opponent did in our half. But you would see that all these statistics would end up being nothing if we cannot win our matches. So it's important that we win the games. That will follow the statistics. Yes, we had the statistics, we created the chances, but as I said in coaching, yes, this is Johnny's third game. He's feeling the team, he's feeling the Gambian public, he's knowing his players well. Yeah, he did a lot of research with his team, and you would see that, yes, if you create chances and you don't take it, you are always punished. Unfortunately, this time we were punished by conceding the first goal, and we were in a position to come back. But God forbid, there would come a day probably we will struggle to equalize if we don't take our chances. So it's important that when we have chances, the players are calm in front of goal and take the shots to score the goals. Don't kill the goalkeeper. Choose a place. These are professional players, I know. Nobody's going to teach them how to score goals, but they should be in a position to be more relaxed in front of goal and make good use of the chances created.
Any impressions in terms of individual players or the way the team played? A player like Joseph Cisse, that was his first game. Has he impressed you?
Yeah, I look at the team, I think there were some, because naturally we played without a natural right back. Joseph is a defensive midfield player or a box-to-box midfield player, but he can also play as a centre back. So we lost Omar Koli, Mohamed Sane was not in the team. So we played, in our defense, we played without a right back. Sometimes Joseph would cover the space, sometimes Idrissa Cisse will cover the space. And that would give an imbalance in the team, because we are playing without a natural player who plays in that position. And the other thing I look at, yes, as a debutant, I think he did very well. He showed his qualities in the game. But also the other thing I look at is in our midfield. I believe we also did not play with a proper defensive midfield player. Yes, Ibu Adams is more of a box-to-box midfield player than a holding midfield player. So I think if we have Yusufa more back into the team, that will give us. But every coach play with a different dimension. Probably he wants to dominate the game, especially in the opponent's half. So he will not want to have a holding midfield player who stays. But if you look at Ibu Adams, he plays more forward than stay in that hole between the defense and the midfield players. For me, I think Musa Barrow stole the show for me. He first match as national team captain. Captain was not in town, probably because of other issues, and you were given the armband and you were in a position to score a fantastic equalizer. And performance-wise, I think he did extremely well.
And deputized the captain very well in that game.
Yeah.
We've seen in the game lots of fine margins where the Gambia got it wrong. Simple pass to your teammate being intercepted is either the pass is not good enough or your vision at the time. Maybe that's also down to the opposition. We've seen that a lot in the game where Gambia connecting passes will either miss. If two passes are successful, the third one is either intercepted or so. And this results into a counter-attacking football from the Comoros team.
Yeah, I think Comoros set up very well to be in a position to fight and win the balls as fast as possible. And if they do, the first thing they'll look at is to spray forward passes and try to break the Gambian defense as fast as they can. And you would see that because they put a lot of pressure. Yes, we had a team that was very technical, but sometimes the pressure you receive from your opponents make you make those mistakes. It's not just a mistake that you do because there's nothing happening, but because the pressure that this team was putting on. And a lot of Gambians underestimated the Comoros because probably we don't know a lot of their players. And you see that most of their players are French-born and are playing in France. So it was a game that, yes, everybody felt Gambia was in a position to win because, yes, we had Yankuba Minte, who's doing extremely well in the Premier League. Ibrahim Koli, the same thing. Musa Barrow is scoring goals like nobody's business, taking shots. There's a team with a lot of confidence, but Comoros made it very difficult for Gambia. They did not allow us just to play the way we want to play, but we are in a position to dominate and create chances. That shows the quality of the players that we have in our national team.
One man was missing in the game, the captain, Omar Koli. How was his miss felt by the team, the way they play in defense? Yeah, James came in and Idrissa Cisse in the heart of the defense.
If you miss your team captain, that means if not 50% of the team, at least 25% of the team, because he's the tactical leader of the group. Most of the messages are passed through him to the other players, so that is something. The other thing is, for me, there was another imbalance in defense because the defense that played the last World Cup qualifiers, Omar Koli was missing, Mohamed Sane was missing. So we had only Idrissa and Ibu Toure. Even Ibu Toure did not play that game. Evra Gay is also missing.
Yeah. Omar Gay.
Omar Gay did not play. So you see that defensive unit that played against both those World Cup qualifiers, only one of them played in that game. And even the goalkeeper was also changed. Ibrahima played the last two games.
Do we need stability? Like, have a consistency of 4 defenders, you know, when your national team is playing. I know this is difficult, yes, players, due to form, due to injury, due to a whole lot of things are involved.
The truth is this is not a club, it is a national team. And national team selections are based on performance of players, especially players who are playing week in, week out. And you would see that now, Gambians can easily know which Gambian player is playing week in, week out, which Gambian player is not playing. And people will ask the coach, but at the end of the day, as I said, the coach has the final decision. He takes the decision on his team, how he want to play, and how he want to achieve his dreams. And you will see that he said before the game that his primary objective is to make sure that Gambia qualifies to the next AFCON, that is making it 3 times in a row.
I've seen some individual performances. Yes, we're not profiling individual players to see how much they perform. Yankuba Minte, no doubt, recently has become the star player of Gambia by the new contract that he signed with Brighton over Albion. The first game that he played, had a good game, and even against Arsenal, almost orchestrated the goal, the equalizer. It was his run, and then, you know, his shot the goalkeeper saved and the rebound was finished off. This is a player that you expect now in every game. He will undergo a lot of pressure, public expectation even from the coach to be the difference maker. How would you rate his performance?
Yeah, if you compare it with his match against Everton, even against Manchester United, you will see that the performance against Everton was top. He had 7.9, and you look at the other games, it seems what I'm looking at is the first game in the Premier League he played extremely well. But you will see that the other games he's getting 6.5, 6.5. He's consistent in getting 6.5. In the Gambia Comoros game, he's rated 6.5. Just above 10, 6 out of 10, that is probably a good score. That's 65% probably. It's a good point. But you will see that, look, Gambia expect a lot from him, even though he's a young player. He is a player who is playing in the Premier League, and people follow the Premier League in the Gambia. They see his performance. They would expect him to do the same performance for the Gambian national team. But also, people should put it in their minds that European football and African football are totally different. European football gives you the space at some point, then you show what you can. But in Africa, it's more of a man-to-man game where people will follow you everywhere. They will not give you the opportunity to show what you can. So and he had already made a name for himself. So every team that Gambia is going to play against, whether we like it or not, there will be a plan for Yankuba Minte.
So that's make it difficult for him. We've seen, in situations where he's good on take-ons, beating past the defense. He tried it several times without success. That happens to even top players.
So you'll see, as I said, they will always have a plan for him. Yeah, they know he's a fast, tricky winger who can play outside, who can cut in and take shots. He can run on the line and give the crosses. When you see that, yes, they will be prepared for him to make sure that they block his run inside so that he cannot take the shots, and allow him to take the line and probably send in the crosses, and the crosses can be for anybody.
There are a lot of missing links in terms of Gambia national team players on that particular day. Going forward, whenever they lose possession, you see it is the defense, sometimes maybe one midfielder tracking back. Is that something that the team needs to improve on? Because modern day football, it is like the entire team needs to be behind ball and or chasing to make sure that when they lose possession, especially in a dangerous area.
Defending is not only the responsibility of the defenders, it's the responsibility of the team. When we attack, everybody's job is to contribute in taking the team forward. But when we lose the ball, it's everybody's job to make sure that we come into our right positions, to make sure that we are in a position to seal the ball from getting where the opponent team want it to go to. So it is everybody's job to track back and come and defend, and it's everybody's job to contribute when we are going forward to attack. And as I said, I'll just say this again. I think we did not play with a proper defensive midfield player. Yes, Ibu Adams is a very good player. He plays in Derby County. He plays almost week in, week out. But yes, if you have Ibu Adams in front of another defensive midfielder, probably Yusufa Bob, we all know that he masters this role as a holding midfield player. And we have other players that we can look at. You have the Serif Sinyans, you have Serif Sinyan, who is playing in Norway. These are all players that we can look at. You have Mamadou Bajo, who is also playing in Slovenia. These are all players that probably, as time goes on, they will be embedded into the team to take the team to the next level.
What are some of the lessons that could be learned from this game against Comoros heading into the Tunisia game tomorrow?
The first lesson Gambians should know is that there are no minnows in African football, yes? Because at some point we were minnows, but now no team will face Gambia and believe that you will just come and overrun the Gambian team. So we should give that respect to our opponents. I'm not talking to the players or the coaching staff, I know, but as supporters of the team, we should not expect that Gambia should go and kill every team, should go and beat every team every now and then. This is a football game. It's 22 players chasing one ball and trying, each team having a strategy to try to win the game or get a point out of it. So we have to respect all our opponents as Gambians first. And the other thing, this is for the team. The team should be in a position to kill games. When we have the opportunities to win matches, to score goals, because the more you score goals, the more your opponents wear down. They get tired. But look, if you score 4 goals in the first half, the opponents you are playing, now for them it will be damage limitations, not trying to fight back. But if you create chances and you don't score, you miss one, you miss again, what happens at the end of the day is that the team can have a lucky break, score a goal, and fan back. Yes, the best you can get at the end of the day is an equalizer, and it's difficult to win again.
Normally, national teams always have one goalkeeper if the person is fit. We've seen a shift in that. Yes, Ibrahim Ojaju played the last 2 games, and then this last game against Comoros, it was Sesibi's turn to be in goal. Is there an imbalance? Is there a situation where the coach is trying new things to see which goalkeeper amongst the 3 that he has in the team or the 4 that he has in the team is more stable than the other?
I think he knows his number 1 goalkeeper.
But why would he change if that's the case?
Yeah, probably Ibrahim is not his number 1 goalkeeper. But I believe as the coach, he knows his number 1 goalkeeper, who is his number 1 goalkeeper. And I believe if you look at the ranking in the national team, Sesibi was in the AFCON in 2021. He was part of the team. He played some matches for Gambia, test matches under coach Tom Saintfiet. And Ibrahim is just coming into the national team. He was invited at some point but did not play. He got his cap with coach Johnny. And not everything in the camp we know, but I believe every decision a coach makes, there is a reason behind it. And teams are selected during training. Yes, you invite players based on their form, what they show in their clubs. But when they come and train with you, then you make a decision to select 11.
Well, the way the goalkeeping trend is going, maybe even the Real de Banjul goalkeeper who's been invited not long ago could have the opportunity of being in goal, because if it is a matter of a trial to see which goalkeeper suits the team best.
Yeah, I don't believe it's a matter of trials. I believe the goalkeeper, the coach and the goalkeeper trainer know who is their number 1 choice within the squad. But as I said, not everything that is in the camp we know. So there are things that probably we don't know. And because of those issues and because of training, they will take decisions based on that.
For tomorrow's game against Tunisia, do you expect some changes in the team?
One definite change for me is the team captain is coming back into the team.
So going to come in.
Yeah,
who's going to go out?
I think one of the centre backs would go out, and I believe we will. I don't know whether in the squad we have another right back. I believe there is the need to play with a natural right back in the team, and if Omar Colley comes back, probably with his leadership qualities, he can stabilize the team. He can talk to the young players and be in a position to guide the team, to be in a position to at least secure the result that we need against Tunisia. Yes, we played twice against Tunisia. We won both games. That will be on the heads of the Tunisian players. Look, this is a team that eliminated in our.
But one would argue that that's in the past.
Yeah, but history helps
counts a lot in football.
History helps you to define your actions. Now, we know we played Tunisia. We defeated them twice. Tunisia would not want it to happen again. Gambia would want to keep the record. So for me, it is not going to be a very easy game. It is going to be very tricky, and the Tunisian team will come all out to try to win that match. Yes, Gambia is playing home. Tunisia is coming to Morocco to face Gambia. It's in the northern part of Africa. They are all from the Maghreb. They know the terrain. So it's not going to be a very easy game. And the sad thing is we will not have a lot of supporters at the stadium. In Geneva.
That's going to bring me to my next question. We have to discuss something that is beyond us, but is a fact. Playing at home, the advantages of it. We would have loved to watch this game at the Independence Stadium against Tunisia, full house. Yes, the support, we make the stadium kind of a fortress for the Tunisian team, but that's not going to be possible.
That's what every Gambian is looking for, to have our national team play in Gambia. But there are certain things that are not in control of people. They are in control of others, and those people have to do what they ought to do. It's good that some 2-3 weeks ago, the President of the Republic was at the Independence Stadium to see firsthand what is how far have Gambia gone and how far will it go to make sure that we are in a position to play in the Gambia in October. For me, which is going to be very difficult now, because you at least have to give nothing less than 45 days notice to CAF. And recently I just read that the inspector of stadiums had resigned from CAF, and probably they will look for another person who would come. Yes, I was at the Independence Stadium yesterday to watch the under-20 play, a selection of league players did by the Gambia Football Coaches Association, and the pitch for me is top. You just need to finish, and key in football is the pitch.
Is the pitch, yeah.
So if the pitch is top, we just need to finish the other needed things to make sure that Gambia is at least given the opportunity to play at home. But if I look at some of the stadiums, I watch Ghana play Angola.
Yes, at the Baba Yaro Stadium.
For me, the Independence Stadium pitch is ahead of that pitch.
Yes, but we understand it's not only about the pitch, it's about the stadium.
So you will see that
the structure and other things
we
as
have
well
to look at. So I think the government is doing their utmost to make sure that the stadium is open for the national team to play at home, but probably it's going at a slow pace.
Going at a slow pace, we will now take a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue the discussion. The Gambia, in their quest to get a third consecutive qualification, AFCON qualification 2025 Morocco. Will it be possible? Have they started well? Against Comoros, it was 1-1, 1 point. But Tunisia currently tops the group with that victory against Madagascar.
With so many things to do in a single day, it's important to have a network you can trust. When there's family and friends to connect with and business calls to make, you need a network that is reliable and fast. Talk longer, browse faster, go farther, and roam wider. When your network is solid, the world is your oyster. Qcell, your trusted network in the Gambia.
Have you been looking for the perfect indoor router with long-range Wi-Fi coverage and faster internet speed connecting all your smart devices? Well, we present to you the Qcell Indoor Router, a router that has all you need and much more. For just $4,275, you can get 4G plus internet speed, wide coverage, and connect up to 15 devices. And that's not all. The indoor router can be used for both office and home needs. So, enhance your internet experience with our indoor router. For more info, call our customer care on 111. Qcell, Sunubus, we innovate, others follow.
Welcome back, and thank you very much for joining us. This is Qsports, and I am Mamadou Kajaga. We're discussing exclusively the Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers, Gambia, Comoros. Post-match, what happened, where did the Gambia got it right, and where did they get it wrong? And joining me in the studio is Coach Ahmad Cham to discuss that. Now, the whole group situation have changed completely after Tunisia's victory against Madagascar. Well, Cham, people were keenly following this encounter because of Gambian interest in the group. One would have thought that the game is almost nil-nil. In fact, 5 minutes were added on top of the 90. That 5 minutes have elapsed, but it has gone on up to 8 minutes. You can bring the argument that Madagascar wasted a lot of time. During the game, there were delays here and there, sometimes due to injury, sometimes due to substitutions. But we can argue whole day. At the end of the day, Tunisia won, and victory for them. Congratulations to them. But how does this make the group?
Yeah, as long as the referee did not blow the final whistle.
It's not game over.
Yeah, it's not yet game over. So this is something that we should all understand and know that it's the timing of the referee is the official time. I can sit on the bench and have my sport watch and say this is the time. My time is not official. What the referee has the official time for the game. Yes, 5 minutes were added. It went up to 8 minutes. Tunisia scored. At the end of the day, they won the game. They got the chance, and it was in the net. They celebrated, and now they're comfortably on top of the group. And I believe Gambia, Tunisia, when the draw was made, a lot of people look at these two countries as the favorites to qualify to Morocco. But this is football. Gambia qualified where we had Gabon in the group. Those days in footballing terms, Gabon were ahead of the Gambia, but we qualified in that group. We had Angola who were in the World Cup. We also qualified in that group. We had DR Congo, Congo Republic in the same group, and we qualified. So we have to be ready to make sure that that hunger of making it 3 times in a row is in the team to take us to the next AFCON. Yes, Tunisia is a footballing nation. They did extremely well. They went to the World Cup. And Madagascar, they were not in the last AFCON, but before that one they were in the AFCON. Comoros, they were not there. So you would see all these countries are building up to be competitors. As I said initially, there are no minnows in African football. If you have any team, for Gambia to qualify, for any team to qualify, you must win all your home games and at least pick a point away. Yes, we already pick a point away. Against Tunisia, it's a home game away from home for the Gambian national team, that is the Scorpions. But this is a game that we have to go there, fight tooth and nail to get the desired result. And that desired result is the 3 points.
The minimum requirement for a team to qualify either as the winners of the group or the runners-up, at least you should get 10 points. Like you talked about, winning all home games, that's 9 points. And then if you get a single point away in the 3 away matches that you were getting, that's 10 points. 10 points. That should be, at least enough for you to qualify.
Yeah.
Exactly, even as the second or the runner-up in the group. Yes, that's very, very going to be very difficult because for Gambia, we're going to miss out on the first game, real home game. But at the end of the day, as you describe it, it's going to be home away from home.
Yeah.
How should we approach the game against Tunisia?
We have to be cautious. One, that is not to concede the first goal and try to score the first goal. And make sure that when we have our chances, we at least take those chances. But yes, Tunisia will come with the desire to beat Gambia. So the pressure, in fact, it's more on the Tunisian team than the Gambian team. Because we played them twice, we defeated them twice. Now they will want to make sure that it does not happen the 3rd time. Now the Gambian team have to be very cautious. We don't have to just, yes, if we can start and score the first goal in the first minute and organize our team. That is not to say that we are going to sit deep and defend, but organize our team. When we lose the ball, we know that we should close the spaces where they would have the opportunity to pass and avoid a lot of dead ball situations, because I know these Maghreb countries, they are very good when it comes to dead ball situations. Just if we avoid a lot of that and score the first goal, we might be in a position to score a second goal and win the game. but we have to be very cautious.
Talking about that dead ball situations, free kicks, corners.
Corner kicks.
Most of the goals that we concede, free kick, corner, similar situations. Football, you cannot say let's avoid those sort of mistakes, but can it be minimized?
Yeah,
Can you have a setup where the team defend very well collectively?
Yeah, if a team can avoid it, it's better. Because it's always said, better throw than corner than goal in coaching. If you have the opportunity to play the ball on the touchline, it goes to the throw. It's better than playing it over the goal line to have a corner kick. But if you have the opportunity to play it as over the goal line for a corner kick, it's better than allowing the ball to go inside the net. So, yes, what I observe is our goalkeepers are not yet showing that dominance aerially in the 18-yard area, especially when it comes to corner kicks. Ibrahima had some surprises when he played. The same thing applies to CICB. That dominant goalkeeper in the 6-yard area or in the penalty area, I think our goalkeepers need to work a lot on that area.
Yes, that's going to be an area where they really need to adjust. Going forward, when you open up, we now have a team that says it plays attacking football. Let's say, for instance, the coach Jonathan McKinstry, that's his fancy football, keeping possession going forward. But you are playing against a Tunisia side that, in terms of players, yes, you may argue we have some good players who play at the top level, but Tunisia overall also have some top players, even if some of them play in their league, because their league is a professional league.
Yeah, their goalkeeper is the youngest player in the team. He's 20 in the national team, and he plays in Tunisia. So that tells you the level of their league too. But the coach did not only say that he played based on the opponent and where they play, that he also adjusts his tactics. He does not always come and say, we open up and play. But yes, he will want to control the game, he will want to have more of the ball. But depending on the opponents we play, and that is every coach, you adjust your tactics. Probably if you feel that this opponent has more quality players than we have, they are more dangerous, they are fast. You look at, I know they will watch that game against Madagascar, and they will do a lot of video review of that game and other Tunisia games to make sure that we have a proper plan against Tunisia to be in a position to win that game.
How important is winning the game? Because that would put the Gambia 4 points in the group.
For me, depending on the results between Madagascar and Comoros, it is not a must-win game. It is a must-not lose. Yes, we don't have to lose that game.
Defeat is a no-go area.
Yeah, we don't have to lose that game. But we must not, it's not by force that we have to win the game, but we have to play football, create the chances, and try to win the match. If we know we cannot win it, it's rather you take 1 point, Tunisia is 4 points, you are 2 points, depending on what is the results between Comoros and Madagascar.
What needs to change up front? Chances you've talked about, you need to take your chances. But in doing that, you have to create the chances first and then be clinical.
Yeah, it seems our strikers are struggling to score goals. Yes, the last time we played, we scored 4 goals from different. Adama Sidibe came and scored, Badamasi scored. But I think since we lost Hassan, we struggle a lot in scoring goals.
Well, Ali Sow is one player who struggled against Comoros. And in getting the balls, controlling, and just as he tries to settle in the box, somehow he's dispossessed of the ball, or sometimes he receives long balls.
Yeah, the difference between Ali and Hassan is that Hassan is a goal scorer. Ali is a more technical player. He can play facing his team, giving his back to the opponent defense, and he has that power to control the ball and allow his team to come up to him. And you will see, apart from Hassan, all the strikers we have, you look at Badamasi, is almost the same type of player. You look at Adama Sidibe, it's the same. They're all powerful, who can hold the ball and allow their team to come. Now here, our flank players have to be fast enough when they pass the striker to give the numbers going forward so that you have Musa Barrow, Ibu Adams, all the midfield players running forward, and the defenders will close the gap between defense and midfield so that we have numbers in front of goal. Ali is good in that, but as you said last time, he struggled, especially even holding the ball.
Can we get to a point? I know he's been injured for 2 years and has a knee injury. It keeps reoccurring, but now seems to have recovered and played in the UAE league now. Even scored a goal in, so is it 2 weeks ago? Babakar Steve Traoré. It's his days numbered in the national team, or if he start performing to a high level, he could be back.
Yeah, I think he's still open to play for the national team. He's a Gambian player, and he's playing week in, week out. He's scoring goals where he is, and I believe he can still come back into the national team. Steve is a very, very intelligent player. He plays football, and he knows when to move. He is skillful. He can get hold of the ball. He can dribble past players, and he can score goals. And not only taking shots, he is also very good at dead ball situations, especially you have Steve, you have Musa Barrow, any of them can score these goals. So for me, the national team is still open to him, and I believe with his performances, probably the coach will start looking at him.
The last game against Comoros, the second half substitute Aliou Fodera came in. Gambia were struggling a lot on the left flank, getting into the box, cutting in. He had a lot of that and successfully got into the box or crosses. Yes, some were kind of went to the corner, and it becomes a corner kick. But there are lots of successful take-ons that he had. Do we need that kind of a player in terms of breaking up the opposition, especially Tunisia tomorrow?
Yeah, I think every game is prepared in a different way. The coaches, as I said, we don't know a lot that is happening in the camp, especially when it comes to the team talk, the preparations for the match. Yes, we see pictures of the training and all those things, but what happens actually, how did coach want to play, which areas he want to exploit. Because they watch the Tunisia game, I know they will know where they want to exploit and what they want to use to make sure that they are in a position to punish. Yes, every skillful player is needed in a team, but you cannot have a team with every player almost the same. There are different qualities that you put together to build a team. There are players, yes, who are there only to break the attacks and give a pass and stay. There are players who are there to do the running. There are players who are there as the tricky players who take on players and be in a position to create opportunities for the team. So in team building, you look at different aspects of the game, different qualities, and you put them together to have a team.
In African football, a lot happens. Our former coach is Tom Saintfiet. Recently, he signed a 2-year contract with the Mali national team, the Eagles of Mali. His first game was a 1-1 draw, coach. But what are your memories of him, Tom? And now he's back to African football after a brief stint with the Philippines national team.
I think the memories, not only my memories, the memories of Gambians, is that he's the first coach to take Gambia to the Africa Cup of Nations.
And back to back.
And back to back. So whatever happens, he left his legacy in Gambian football, and we wish him well in Mali to be in a position to replicate what he did in Gambia in Mali, because Mali have a lot of quality players. You look at the players in their team. You talk about Yves Bezuma, you talk about Haidara, who plays for Leipzig. They have good players, and I believe those players are in a position to take them to the next level. Yes, I saw a lot of Gambians yesterday looking at the social media showing the ball possession and all those things. But football, we don't say this is a wrong way of playing football, or this is, everybody have your style.
Your preferred way.
We have to respect people based on their style of coaching. And if that is his style, whoever takes him as a coach will know that this is his style, and you have to respect that. So as Gambians, I believe he did his part for Gambian football. He has gone to Philippines, has moved to Mali. We should give him the respect he deserves and allow him to do his job.
In terms of results, we've seen some results which were shocking. When Ghana played against Angola at the Pabayaro Stadium, it was a home game for Ghana. In fact, in the last minutes, every almost Ghanaian was afraid that the stadium might not host the game. But at the end of the day, they did some adjustment with the pitch, but it was still terrible. Looking at the game on television, Angola scored a last-minute goal. Quite shocking.
Yeah, I listened to the interview of the coach. He said he's not blaming the pitch for losing the game because all the teams played on the same pitch. But the pitch played a part in disturbing the way they wanted to play football. Yes, that is not the problem for the Angolans. It's a problem for Ghana. They should fix their stadium to make sure that the type of football the Ghanaian national team coach want to play is they are in a position to play on the pitch they have.
And talking about the pitch, even the Angolan coach Pedro Gonçalves talks about a country like Ghana deserves a better pitch.
Yeah, I think they should work on it to make sure that they look at a better grass breed and start, because, okay, yes, the stadium is past. But for me, the most important thing in a football stadium is the ground where, the players go to show what they can do. But if they don't have a proper pitch where they can show their abilities, their skill, what they are made of, it's very, very difficult and sad.
The other result, if you like, which I would also call shocking, is Burkina Faso, Senegal. Senegal's home game stadium was packed, and this is a Senegal team. Yes, won AFCON, qualified to World Cup consecutively. Now, yes, is it like the days of Aliou Cissé are numbered?
Yeah, I would not say his days are numbered. What I would say is Senegal also expect too much from their team now, and that puts a lot of pressure on the team. That puts a lot of pressure on.
But they seem to be the Africa's best team in terms of consistency.
Not the game I watched yesterday.
Yeah.
I think
Burkina played very well.
Burkina Faso deserve at least a point in that game. The only heartbreaking thing is that the time the Senegalese conceded the goal, it was in the last minutes. The referee the fourth referee already showed 5 minutes of added time, and it was during this period. Even the kickoff did not take place, and the game was over. So you see that the time, and this is not the first time it is happening to Senegal. Even when they played in the World Cup qualifiers, again in the same stadium, the same thing happened. They scored the first goal and conceded the last goal. It ended in a draw. They went to Mauritania, won 1-0. But you will see that, yes, there is a lot of talk around the team, that there is a lot of disunity, especially when Sadio Mane was interviewed in Senegal during the last World Cup qualifiers, when he said the way the team played was something else. And if you watch a lot of their television stations, they talk about it. They discuss the national team. Yes, a lot of people will tell you that Aliou Cissé is playing players at their own position. Like everybody, you watch them analyze the game, they talk about Habibou Diarra, who yesterday played as a right back, and everybody believes that he's a midfield player who should be allowed to flourish in his midfield role. And you look at the team again, for me, it was too defensive, because you had Pape Matar Sarr, you had Idrissa Gana Gueye, and you had Pape Gueye. All the same type of midfield players.
Okay.
The difference is too little. They are not players who rarely take on players and create a passing opportunity. They work very hard on the ball. They work very hard defensively. And another defect I see in the national defensive setup is the two center-backs. For me, they are too heavy. Kalilou Koulibaly and Seck. I think it's Abdou Seck. I think for me, they are too heavy, and if they have pacey strikers they will always be in trouble. Yes, yesterday they almost conceded a goal when Kalilou Koulibaly was right on position to make the stop. And Seni Jeng also did a lot of saves, especially from the free kicks and all those things. But unfortunately, they conceded a goal. Also
From a free kick?
From a free kick.
Yeah.
Second header, drop inside the 6-yard area, and the finish. There was nobody between the goalkeeper and the goal, so the goal was scored, and that was it. And
in the AFCON results for yesterday, the biggest winners in the continent are Morocco, 5-1 against Gabon. The Gabon that we struggled to defeat, even though we had so many opportunities.
Yeah, I think yes.
4-1 rather.
Morocco, yes, are the host of the AFCON. They are playing in the qualifiers to harness, to make sure that their team is always together. But Gabon, for me, it's a team that is declining. You see, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang had to retire from international football and
he missed the penalty,
and even had to come back. That shows you something about it. Yes, it seems like they are not having a lot of players coming to replace the players in the national team, and wherever you have that, you struggle for consistency because those players are aging. They are professional players. They are playing week in, week out, and they will struggle to continue playing with their national teams. But for me, Gabon is a team that, and Morocco has shown that they are one of the best playing African teams. They play fantastic football, they score goals, and playing at home and beating Gabon by 4-1, it should not be a surprise to anybody who follows African football.
Other result also, which was convincing, is Egypt, Cape Verde. No.
Egypt, the Pharaohs, record African champions. Right, so to go to Egypt and get a point or even score a goal is something else. Moreover, winning, because they are consistent. They have a lot of good players playing in different parts of the world, and they have a professional league. And most of the time, most of their players are coming from their league. So top teams, I think they are doing the job the way they should do it, and every African country should be in a position to emulate Egypt, what happens in Egypt, what happens in Morocco, and what happens in South Africa.
The other result is Cote d'Ivoire 2, Zambia 0, and as well as DR Congo 1, Guinea 0, Togo 1, Liberia 1, South Africa 2, Uganda 2. And this game, it's South Africa which came from behind to get the equalizer in the last minute.
Yeah, I think the COSAFO area, that part of Africa, is also developing a lot when it comes to football. Uganda used to be minnows. They would struggle to play South Africa and even score goals or even win matches in South Africa. If they are in a position to peg South Africa, score the first goal, South Africa equalize, they score the second goal. So that tells you something, that something is happening in that part of Africa that we should all look at and see how to replicate that in our regions. Yes, when you go to the AFCON, most of the time the winners are from the Maghreb or West Africa. I think we won most of the Africa Cup of Nations, West Africa and the Maghreb, yes. South Africa won it once,
yeah.
And that's it.
1996.
Yeah.
Well, Coach Macham, thank you very much for your time. Well, that's it for Qsports today. We're looking forward to Gambia's game tomorrow, and the details and the analysis would come next week on Saturday at the same time. Until then, keep on sporting and have a wonderful day. Bye.